All right. Shalom. We the Brothers of Great Millstone, the church in Birmingham, Alabama. And as always, want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Yeah, in the ancient Hebrew tongue, those will be the correct names of the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. Also, we'd like to give double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there, and as always, you believers. So yeah, we back once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. As you can see, I'm with the brother Dawadah. The spirit allowed us to come together once more to go into another quick lesson in which the content of it and overall subject matter, as always, revolves around Bible prophecy. And for those of us in the know, of course, and pretty much all of you out there, well, eventually you're going to come to know, and that's the fact that that spirit, the spirit of prophecy, impacts all things considered. Why? Because it actually emanates from the thoughts of the Most High. For everything that we have experienced from the micro sense as touching individuals and the coming and going of men, to the global spectrum, if you will, to the rise and fall of kingdoms and empires, it all serves as nothing more than a thought from the Most High. So in essence, if you want to know what the Lord thinking, just look around you. This the thoughts of the Lord, man. We are a manifestation of his thoughts. Matter of fact, let's prove that real quick before we get into this lesson. What's that, the book of Psalms, the 92nd chapter? Baba Kashaf, if you could pull that up. Psalms 92. I believe around the 4th or the 5th verse. But you can start at the top and we'll just read down.
Con. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 92 and verse 1. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High.
Right. And that's what you're witnessing. The word going forth is likened to a song, a new song. And that's pursuant to, what's that, Revelation, the 14th chapter? So for those of you sincere brothers as well as your sisters out there, pretty much this would be considered a waiting game at this point. We're waiting for the impact. We're bracing for impact. Seeing that these turbulent times is about to come, but the Lord provided stability. That's why the scriptures say, give thanks unto the Lord and sing praises, because he allowed us access to this information, which will pretty much serve as a stabilizer in that day. We'll be hardened. Hey, that's why the word in some capacity is likened to mortar, right? For those of you out there who might be familiar with construction, you know, you might have a feel for brick masonry. Let's say if you consider a brick building structure, right? You have all the different bricks, but within the bricks and between the bricks, you have cement. That's pretty much mortar. And what's the reason behind it? To hold everything together. So that's the same with this word, the same effect. As we digest this word, just like mortar, it hardens within us. It hardens us. Hey, that's why the things that move the needle with you people out there, it don't affect us over here. The things that make you laugh, that make you cry, it don't affect us. Why? Because due to this word, we're being hardened so that we will be stabilized in the time of trouble. See? Go ahead.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night.
Right. And we literally experiencing that love and kindness that's being shown from morning to night. And the ministry itself, which is now on display and being presented through the internet, which the internet is not just some modern marvel of the 21st century. No, this is the apparatus that the Lord chose in which to propel his word forth throughout the planet Earth. What's that, the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter? Then this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached into all the world. See? Psalms 19 speaks concerning the internet. So that love and kindness, which again is this word, this truth that's being brought forth, it's readily available. and accessed at morning, at night. And it's beautiful the way the Lord set it up. You got men on the other side of the globe, pretty much once they shut down, then we awake, right? Once we shut it down, there's going to be brothers on the other side of the earth and everyone in between, as touching the prophets, the diligent brothers, constantly uploading these videos. Well, that's an example of the Lord showing forth his love and kindness in the morning and his faithfulness every night. Go ahead.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings,
Mm-hmm.
and upon the psaltery, upon the harp, with a solemn sound.
Right. That instrument starts with the scriptures, but spills over into these laptops, desktops, mobile phones. Right? That's the instrument that we're using to sing this song. Come on, Hop.
For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work.
Read that again.
For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work.
Right, because before we was introduced to this form of teaching, we had no hope. And if you had any hope, it was in Esau. It was in your oppressor. Your oppressor was your avenger. Right? Your hopes and dreams and desires centered around whatever Esau packaged and presented unto you. What we deemed as success, it was all centered around, it was predicated upon what the so-called white man told you was the standard. But since we have been introduced to this information, the words of eternal life, we have been comforted. Go ahead.
I will triumph in the works of thy hands.
Mm-hmm.
O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep.
Continue.
A brutish man knoweth not, neither doeth a fool understand this.
Right. Understand what? The message.
Mm.
And it's based upon them being brute beasts. They know not. Neither do a fool understand this. But let's go back to the point. Let's go back to the 5th verse.
Come, O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep.
See, so that proves that the Lord have thoughts. And again, just look around you. This is the thoughts of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. Matter of fact, let's click on that word thoughts.
Okay. Strong's H 4284. It says thought, device, thought, device, plan, purpose. It says invention.
Invention, right? Which an invention, it starts with a thought and it's manifest. So basically, the Lord shared his thoughts with us, right? What's that? 1 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter. We have known the mind of the Lord, but we have the mind of Yahushua. And this is not a new idea, right? When you consider the old world, before the Lord brought forth that flood, he shared those thoughts with Noah. Oh, even Sodom and Gomorrah. It wasn't as if the Lord came under the cover of darkness and destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and everybody was looking around, what's going on? No, he pretty much, he shared those thoughts with Abraham. He expounded unto Abraham as touching his plans and purposes concerning Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, guess what? We in that same breath. Matter of fact, real quick, let's get that in the book of Genesis, the 18th chapter, I want to say. Genesis 18 and I believe around the 15th verse. Matter of fact, the 18th verse. Genesis 18. Matter of fact, the 17th verse. Genesis 18 and 17. And we're going to read down.
This is Genesis chapter 18 and verse 17. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do?
See? And why did the Lord come to this conclusion? To pretty much share his thoughts with Abraham? Because Abraham was his friend. Go real quick to the book of the book of James. James, the 2nd chapter. And it should be towards the end, towards the last verse. Matter of fact, yep.
This is James chapter 2 and verse 23. And the scripture was fulfilled which saith, Abraham believed the Most High, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of the Most High.
He was called the friend of the Most High. And what you do with your friend, you have a close friend, you share your thoughts with them, man. Which when you consider one's thoughts, they're within, right? That's what make it a thought. Until you express that thought or publish that thought, then it's just that. It's a secret. But remember when you read Amos, the 3rd chapter, it tells you how the Lord would do nothing. But he revealeth what? His secrets. His servants, the prophets, man. See? So Abraham was counted as a friend. And what bridged that relationship was his belief, his faith. Matter of fact, before we go back to that Genesis, real quick, let's get that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter and the 14th verse.
It's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7 and verse 14. It says, for she is a treasure unto men that never faileth.
Right, and obviously that she is dealing with wisdom. Go ahead.
Which they that use become the friends of the Most High, being commended for the gifts that come from learning.
See, so you see what this is, the ultimate mental game over here. The stage that the Lord set is that of a learning experience. But what's the point? That attribute, if you will, makes you a friend of the Most High. This is what creates that alliance. And guess what? That's going to be needed, man, as we close in on these turbulent times. The only way out is going to be through Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. There's nothing carnal, nothing in this realm that's going to save you. Scripture speaks about how the flesh, how it goes, trust not in...
making flesh your arm.
Right, making flesh your arm, man. Meaning these tangible things that we often put our stock into, right? Money, resources, or whatever one might deem to be an outlet in time of trouble, a hedge. What you're going to find out is that it's going to require divine intervention. It's going to get so bad out here to where you're going to need divine intervention, man. Real quick, go to the book of Psalms 121. Right? You know what I want? I believe it's the first verse.
This is Psalms 121 and verse 1. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help.
See, so our help is going to come from above. Right? Matter of fact, continue,
my help cometh from the Lord.
See, my help coming from the Lord, man. So when all hell breaks loose, you got to remember, these bodies is referred to as chains. And why? Because there's limitations, man. I dare your ass to go on a hunger strike. You know? You might for so long, but they show you that it was this Twilight Zone episode. It was called To Serve Men. I don't know if you ever saw that one. It was about this cookbook what these aliens, so-called aliens, had, and they descended upon Earth. And hey, it's heavy too. Lord will, I'm gonna send that out to you because they actually had Hebrew characters on the cookbook.
Oh, wow.
Right? But when the humans, they got the book and they was able to interpret what it said to serve men. So they thought that the alien was going to serve them and bow to them and be at their every waking, right? But it really meant that they was going to eat their ass. It was a cookbook. But the point, right? The guy, he found it out. one of the guys, he was on a hunger strike because the alien was feeding them so they can get fat. So he went on a hunger strike, but at the end he couldn't take it no more. They brought him some food. He ripped that shit open, right? Why? Because his body is designed in such a way to eat. Your body, you can't stay up all day. You have to go to sleep at some point. You have to drink. You have to eat. That's why these bodies is referred to as chains. You have limitations. So with that said, you got to eat, man. And once the Lord dry everything up, there's only going to be certain spirits who the Lord is going to hedge. As you see the head in this chapter, the Lord, the keeper of Israel, that Israel is dealing with the elect as it relates to this lifetime. But see, that help is only going to come from the Lord. You're not going to be able to conjure up food in that day. See, read that again.
Con, my help coming from the Lord, which made heaven and earth.
That's the Lord promoting himself. Look, I made heaven and earth. Right? Go ahead.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
See? So the Lord is not bound by these chains. He don't sleep. See? Matter of fact, let's continue in this.
Con, behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Right, and that shade really represents being comforted in affliction, which varies. It ranges from being shaded when the evil famines of famine, so the evil arrows, or what's that, Ezekiel? Right, the evil arrows of famine, you're going to be shaded, you're going to be kept, you're going to be relieved, all the way up into the arrows, the missiles, man. See? But that's the point right there. If you got something, you can bring it out. If not, let's go back to Genesis.
Okay. This is Genesis chapter 18 and verse 17. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do?
Right. So the Lord shared his thoughts with Abraham, just as he's doing with us. Go ahead.
Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation.
And that's where we find ourselves. Right? We are being groomed to be a great and mighty nation. Whereas in times past, we was associated with these corporate names. We was aligning ourselves with being African Americans and Latinos and so-called Mexicans, Haitians, Jamaicans, Guatemalans, right? But now we are being groomed to be a great nation. Yasha Allah. Read that again.
Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him.
See, so what's the point again? The Lord said, look, shall I hide this thing from Abraham? So that proves that the Lord's thoughts, once again, was conveyed to us, just as he did with Abraham. And what was those thoughts that he shared with Abraham? He was going to visit Sodom and Gomorrah, man, in the 5 neighboring cities. See? So again, that's where we find ourselves, in which we know that visitation will be perfected with the Lord's wrath, and that's going to manifest in the form of World War III. You know, if you're new to this style of teaching, you might be taken by that, seeing that the basis, the platform in which we build is the Bible, and that's perceived to be an ancient text. But we're pretty much marrying modern terminology with this book. Microchips, America, right? And missiles and the science behind the missiles, which is to bring forth World War III. That's all biblical. But what we wanted to touch on, and in this lesson, in which we're going to briefly speak to, is not going to be long or drawn out, and that's the famine, man. Very heavy scene in this drama, where the Lord is going to pretty much plague the inhabitants of the planet Earth, and chiefly right over here in America, this land of plenty, if you will. right? What's that, Revelation, the 18th chapter? It speaks about how this place have lived deliciously. You got fast food restaurants on every block. You got apps to accommodate your lust for food and drink or whatnot. But the Lord is going to combat that with a severe famine, man. See? And the stage is set. Everything is in place. The pieces is in place for that famine to become a reality. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Op. You got it.
Okay. This is from fizz.org. It says, our food system is broken and we have only 60 harvests left, researchers warn.
Yeah, and that's the thing about harvesting and right? It all complements one another, is in harmony. You have harvesting and you reap. So if you have a bad harvest, you might not feel the effects of it this go around, but the next round, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the pushback from the previous harvest that might have been compromised. And we know, going back to that nigga BG, Bill Gates, he pretty much destroyed all the farmland, the livestock. There's a recall, which we was about to bring out. We had information on more recalls. We decided not to even bring it out. Oh, which I was looking at something earlier. Well, 2024 is projected to be a history, a record in U.S. history as touching recalls. They're anticipating to be more recalls in 2024 than ever, in which that trend started around maybe late 21, early 2022 to now. Sporadically throughout time, you have recalls here and there, but just the bulk, and back to back to back to back recalls on all fronts. Well, that's pretty much your how about me. I was shot breaking, right? You see that word there, real quick. You know what I want? Isaiah, the first chapter.
Okay.
It's like Isaiah 3.
Okay.
Isaiah 3 and 1.
Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doeth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water.
Right, which that stay represents your stability. This is what stabilizes you people. And guess who orchestrated that? Yahweh Shema Shai, right? Which goes back to the point of you being in chains. You have limitations. You can't step up. You know what? I'm going to go on a hunger strike. No, because your body was designed to eat. See, so the Lord said he's going to take away that staff. That's pretty much breaking up that flow of being able to eat and drink when you please. So let's go back out unless you got some.
No, I ain't got none. I ain't got none. We already mentioned it. That Ezekiel, the evil arrows.
Hey, matter of fact, let's get it out.
Okay. Ezekiel chapter 5 and verse 16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine.
Right, and if I may, you see here where the Lord in the terminology, if you will, the lingo is war talk, man. Now remember when you read what's that? Is that the book of Exodus, the 15th chapter? Tells you how the Lord is a man of war. Of Moses. So right here, the Lord is expounding on his weapons of choice. And one of them is an arrow. Now, what's the science behind using an arrow? Is a silent weapon. You don't even hear it coming for the most part. It's after when it hit. You see? Then you realize, oh shit, you leaking all over the place. So it gives you a glimpse into the approach of Yahweh Shema Shai touching his famine. It's going to be a very cruel approach, saying that the Lord is going to somewhat snatch the rug from under you. Read that again.
Con, when I shall send upon them the arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction.
Meaning it's not going to relent.
Mm.
It's not like the Lord said, I'm going to send the famine, it's going to be a scourge, then afterwards I'm going to provide you with more. No, that famine is going to be for your destruction. See? Go ahead.
And which I will send to destroy you.
So the Lord is claiming and taking responsibility for the great famine. He's sending it. And again, remember the context. He's likening the Pharaoh into an arrow. And again, an arrow, and what contributes to that being a heavy weapon is the fact that it's a silent weapon. Go ahead.
And I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread.
See? And will break your staff of bread, man. Which pretty much complements. Let's go back to the article.
Okay. It says, our food system is broken.
Right. And it goes back to the records, man. The decree sent forth from the heavens. Yahweh Shah swore to break your staff of bread. And here we are. Reading what in this article, where these devils is acknowledging the fact that the food system has been broken. Come on.
And we only have 60 harvests left. Researchers warn. It says plant-based diets, compassionate agriculture, indigenous methods, consumer pressure, new laws, international agreements, and even vegan pets. These are the solutions for fixing our broken food and farming systems.
Right. So pretty much they're going to just make food up. Right. Let's just conjure up something and call it food. Which that goes back to Genesis, the 4th chapter. And that's one of the reasons why we know who Esau is, as it relates to these nations here on the planet Earth. And their position, for one, he's in power, the so-called white man being Esau. But also the fact that the earth is not yielding forth her strength. Under this man's watch, you got food shortages, scarcity of harvest, so much so to where this man have to spray Monsantos, and he had to conjure up food out of thin air. You have mystery meat, red slime, genetically modified organisms. See, you don't know what the hell you eating, man. We brought it out a while back at camp. In McDonald's, where
1%.
Right. Right. Them devils, man. They had you don't have that image on deck, do you?
You know what? I can get it.
Yeah, man. If you can find that image, let's give you a glimpse into the mischief of this fucking devil, man. Right. He pretty much through his media, which is a form of witchcraft, he play on the psyche of the people. Yep, the brother Malachi, he got that Ezekiel 4 in the NLT. Let me read it real quick. Ezekiel 4, starting at 16. Then he told me, son of man, I will make food very scarce in Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, because ultimately the wrath of Yahweh Shai is geared towards Esau. We understand that. But who's going to feel the brunt of that judgment? 2/3. And you can read about that in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, and the 15th verse. Whomsoever is joined to Esau will be thrust through. So the famine is going to hit, and you Israelites, you're going to feel the brunt of it. It says it will be weighed out with great care and eaten fearfully. Yeah, you're going to be watching your food closely. You're going to be rationed out. Everybody get a top of water. See? It says, and eating fearfully, the water will be rationed. See?
Mm-hmm.
The water will be rationed out drop by drop. That's how it's going to get out here, man. And that's going to be the presence of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Right? Just as in ancient Egypt, that's how the Lord made his presence felt. It says, and the people will drink it with dismay. Ezekiel 4:17, lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror. And they will waste away under the punishment, man. And that goes until you pining away, because when you die of hunger, it's like a time lapse. You ever saw one of them time lapse videos?
Okay.
Right? Where they might have the seasons changing, a tree, spring and the leaves and the time. Well, that's how it is with the famine, man. It's going to be a beautiful piece of work because the average American is obese. Some fat nigga in flip-flops should be playing ball. But that nigga got some fries. See? Well, he's going to pound away. You're going to see him again. He's going to be 70 pounds, man. So, yeah, you got it out. Did you find that? Did you want to show that? Yeah, show that, bro.
If I can, let me see.
Maybe you might want to turn the lighting down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost there.
That might get it.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Now, yeah, if you can move that over, right? So you see where it says, with the naked eye, you would think that they promoting that this is 100% beef. But that's not the case, man. It's really 1%. And that 1% can very well be human. Because, right? It just came out, and we're not surprised, but it just came out again, I believe like a week ago, where they found human, that McDonald's meat tested for human. Right? But this is due to what? The Lord pretty much yielding, Salaki, the earth, the Lord through the planet Earth not yielding forth her strength to this devil. Everything is scarce under his watch. So yeah, come on up.
It says plant-based diets, compassionate agriculture, indigenous methods, consumer pressure, new laws, international agreements, and even vegan pets. These are the solutions for fixing our broken food and farming systems. Say dozens of environmental advocates, researchers, farmers, and industry pioneers in a new book. If I may.
Yep, you got it up.
I see where they introduced indigenous methods. You know how the so-called Native Americans they did the land Sabbath. You know,
right.
They let the land rest. So those are some of the methods now that they're trying to implement.
Yeah.
It says editors Joyce DeSilvia and Karen McKinney sound the alarm in their introduction to regenerative farming and sustainable diets.
Right, and if I may, that's the vibration on the planet Earth, that of an alarm. Right, which an alarm represents a warning. So we're in a time where the Lord is capturing the attention of your people out there, and it's through adversity. You know the old saying, where words won't teach, adversity will. So eventually you all going to know the Lord as it is written. And chiefly once the Lord brings forth judgment, is usually always climax with that famous saying, then they shall know that I am the Lord. So we're in a time of panic in the planet Earth, which is going to ultimately spill over to perplexity.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Con. It says their introduction to regenerative farming and sustainable diets, warning that our food system is broken.
Right. And the brother just read that in Ezekiel, the 5th chapter, where the Lord swore in his wrath to break the staff of bread.
Mm-hmm.
So look, man, this book, man, the Bible, this book reigns supreme, man. The word, the testimony of Yahweh Shah is sure, it's tried, it's tested. The counsel of the Lord is what stands. And we're in a very privileged position, man. As uncomfortable as the message is, because this is not a world-friendly concept. The people are not going to flock to this form. This is the house of mourning. But as uncomfortable as it is a comfort to us.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the Lord sharing his thoughts with us is going to provoke a certain reaction. Now we can move in a certain way. We can operate in a way that's pleasing unto the Lord. And how is that? By putting our trust in him. That's when you put your trust in someone when you're back against the wall, when you don't have no other outlet. All the power has been taken out of your hand. So that's the science. That's one of the reasons why the Lord exposed us to this information. And although graphic, it provokes a reaction. Now we look at it like, you know what? There's nothing we can do. We have to fully commit to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Con. It says radical change is needed. They say in our world, we are 1/3 of food, where 1/3 of food is lost or wasted. 780 million people are hungry. And 3 billion people cannot afford to eat healthy.
And guess what? Who cares if you can afford it when there's nothing to buy? And that's how it's going to get. Now, you see where they say 1/3 of food is lost or destroyed and wasted. And that's the concept with these grocery stores. That was a time where when you reach the expiration date, they just throw that shit in the dumpster, man.
Mm-hmm.
But now, right, and the Apostle Taha spoke on this a while back, they pretty much, hey, if it's expired in a couple of days, they go in and put another week on it, man. They re-tagging it and expanding the expiration date. Why? Because they know the inventory is shortening. They know that the food, whether it's dairy products, meat, whatever, they know that it's scarce. See? Come on.
Con. It says in this context, eminent research and author Philip Lumberry argues for an overreaching UN global agreement to transform food systems. He warns we have just 60 harvests left in our soil to save the future of our children.
See that? Hey, that's a bleak report, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to what we mentioned in Revelation, the 18th chapter, where the Lord will pretty much turn that spirit of mirth into mourning. So here we are. And remember, the Lord is infinite, man. America in its existence serves as nothing more than a moment in time, a shadow that's here today and gone tomorrow. So with that said, it seems like just yesterday in the fabulous 50s and 60s, America was being propped up to be the lady of kingdoms, right? The greatest nation, America. But here in 50 years later, or whatever, how long it's been, which again is nothing to the Most High, you have this report where it's getting so dire to where, look, we need to try to scrap what we got going on, change the food system. Why? Because it's an effort, it's out of desperation. It's to save our children, man, which really they saying to preserve the future. Because the children is synonymous with the future. Come on.
It says for people, animals, and the planet, The clock is ticking.
See, the clock is ticking, man, because the Lord have spoken. Oh, that reminds me of Revelation, the 17th chapter. It speaks about the eighth that is of the seven, which goes into perdition, which represents America. So as soon as America came on the scene, the clock started ticking on its destruction. So that's why it's a heavy spirit of impatience, anticipation. Everybody is on the clock. See, it's an internal clock. Right? You know that terminology in football. You have a quarterback. They said, look, the internal clock better go off, right? He better anticipate the rushers coming in, 1,000, 2 1,000. That's America, man. And the Lord is blitzing, right? Well, I know you saw the story of these drones.
Yeah, kind.
Right? That's hovering over. You got so-called UFO sightings spiking. And really over here in America, it's a heavy chart. Lord willing, I'll try to look it up at some point. I mean, not tonight, but as touching, I believe over the last 100 years, all the UFO sightings been in America, man. Right? There's a few of them been here and there, but it's been over here in America. That's that 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3,
Good.
Something is happening, and these devils, they only got for so much time. They operate in the night. In the morning is coming. So here they are scrambling in the night. In the morning is coming. Come on.
It says, there is no time to lose. It says, what we do now will define the next 1,000 years.
The pride of these devils, too, but it's driven by sheer ignorance with a lot of them, because them elites, they know what's up. But the average red-blooded American, they don't know what's up. They haven't been informed of these great powers, Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahweh Shah. So they think that they destiny lie in their own hand. But we have been given a glimpse into the mindset of the people, and it's sheer panic right now. Why? Because the Lord has begun to visit, just as he did ancient Egypt. So the clock is ticking, man. And the famine is one of the many scourges that's going to contribute to the mayhem, if you will. See? So, hey, with that, let's let's end off in 2nd Ezra 15. Start at the top.
Okay.
Like I said, we wanted to make this short. Didn't want to do too much excessive, right? Because it is what it is. You see, the pulse on the planet Earth, everything is in a downward spiral, man. As it is written concerning Esau, the Lord said, what? I will roll thee down from the rocks. Meaning, before this man is destroyed, he's going to spiral out of control. He's going to experience a great fall. And you can read about that as well in the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter. So come on, let's start at the top.
2nd Ezra 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy.
Right, and that happened with Noah. The Lord spoke in Noah's ear. That was a secret. It wasn't meant for everybody to receive that information. And we read about that in Genesis, the 18th chapter as well, with Abraham. Where the Lord said, look, should I hide this thing from Abraham, seeing that he's my friend? And that thing that he expounded unto Abraham was the visitation of Sodom and Gomorrah. So that's what we find ourselves. Read that again.
Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord.
Right. So the Lord is speaking through the prophets. Go ahead.
And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
Right. That's the scriptures. It's proven to be faithful and true. And that goes back to Yahweh Shah. That's the faithful witness, right? That you read about in Revelation, the 1st chapter. Also, when you read Revelation, the 19th chapter, one of the titles of the Lord is faithful and true. See? Why? Because everything that has been spoken has proven to be faithful. Did not, for an example, did not Israel come over here on slave ships?
Mm-hmm.
See? So that was an example of the Lord's words being found to be faithful and true. Go ahead.
Fear not the imaginations against thee.
Mm-hmm.
Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee.
This is truly that time. What? Everybody and their mama got a damn platform. That's just some nigga riding around in the car talking shit. Like this latest thing, the promised land being America.
Oh, man.
And niggas following up on that, man. That's why the destruction makes sense. Just some nigga high, riding around, talking about some crazy shit and turning into a document with another nigga high, listening. Come on,
Salakia, if I may. That's so heavy that you mentioned that. Somebody came to me and said that to me today.
Wow. Oh, the promised land? Wow. What was they convicted in it, or were they trying
to? They were convinced you see they done switched the maps.
Oh yeah, well that thing been going on. I've been saying, yeah, they talk about the map and but see, you know what? That's your how about some Shah pretty much bringing them into deeper and lower regions of Babylon. That's the nigga that's deep down in the grave.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot to climb out of it. You gotta, you gotta exert all this energy. Because you're too deep. Right? Oh, that's why the scripture speaks about the axe, sharpening the axe. Because when the axe is sharp, you don't have to do a lot of hacking.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're dull, when that axe is dull, you gotta go do too much to get the point, Now you talk about the map, that open up another Pandora box. That's too much. Look, we ain't got time for that, man. See, what we're gonna tell you in a nutshell, you're gonna die if you don't believe, and you will have hope if you believe.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Second Ezra 15:4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
That is. See, the Lord's simplifying. The Lord ain't got time to go back and forth with you, and that's why the Spirit is on the true prophets. Look, we're not with debates.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Spirit jump on certain brothers to bring clarity as touching certain subjects, but even in that is an effort to edify the elect, because the Lord instigate these certain back and forths, right? And it's an effort to bring clarity to a sincere spirit of the elect. They might be pondering about a certain thing, and the Lord have a knucklehead to come up with some wayward doctrine so we can come in, correct them, and that spirit who is inquiring about that, he get edified. See? So even if we do present a form of debate, it's touching correction, it's not for us to boast like a point for us, right? No, the science behind it is to bring forth edification. Come on.
Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world.
That's the message.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord said he will bring plagues upon the world. Go ahead.
The sword, famine, death, and destruction.
See? And that pretty much sums up the famine, death, and destruction. The sword, it sums up the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shah. See that? So you got anything else up? Hey, so with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there, and as always, you believers. Till the next time, shalom.
Shalom.